2,000 Star Track employees across the country walking off the job in a 24-hour protest over job security.
Of course, all transport companies are under pressure from the Amazon effect. We've got Amazon out there, set up a gig-style arrangement, workers who are pushed outside of the legal system, federal government nowhere to be seen to regulate that system.
Refusing to wave the white flag, but proudly swinging their union colours.
Union power! Union power!
This is the moment toll group truckies agreed to slam on the brakes.
Once again, TWU rank and file members have led the way to say enough is enough in this industry, enough is enough in this race to the bottom. We need to stop, we need to fight.
We're taking this fight to the company. We're doing this across the nation.
Today we're striking to secure our working conditions.
With Christmas levels of demand during lockdown, drivers say the fight for rights has never been so important.
We are sick and tired of seeing our jobs going out to other companies, outsourcing on lower terms and conditions, reducing the job security and income for our membership.
Our industry is so under attack, blokes are going broke.
We have subcontractor drivers at work and do not share the same equality, workplace rights and conditions.
These FedEx workers are fed up. They're demanding better pay and job security after the parcel delivery business boomed during the pandemic.
Union power! Union power!
Today you sent a clear message to FedEx. We will not give up our power. You will not be disrespected, and you will not be swindled out of a fair agreement.
If it was simply law that if you're doing the same job, it's the same pay, you can't just outsource it at a cheaper rate to labour hire, then workers would not be in a situation where they have to strike.
What do we want? Job security! We want it now! What do we want? Job security! We want it now!
As Qantas celebrates a centenary in operation, the workers here are fighting to save their jobs. The protesters here say the federal government isn't doing enough to keep the aviation industry afloat.
Qantas is basically getting rid of a unionised workforce and getting in labour hire workers with lower standards and safety conditions.
Qantas was the biggest recipient of JobKeeper in the country, a program designed specifically to keep workers connected to their company. Qantas used it for illegal reasons. The Prime Minister's been silent, and we've got no idea why conditions weren't attached to taxpayer money that was meant to be used for that purpose. And that's a question that really the government needs to answer, as well as Mr Joyce.
Qantas has lost its appeal against a federal court decision that found the outsourcing of ground crew workers illegal.
The full court unanimously upheld its decision that the airline breached the Fair Work Act when it axed the employees during the pandemic in favour of cheaper outsourced staff.
This is the largest finding by a country mile of illegal sacking and outsourcing in Australian corporate history.
It's been over a year of just trauma. Some tragic things have happened to these employees.
For me personally, I've had to sell my house and move out of Sydney. This has been a 12-month fight to try to get justice.
Unions will now seek penalties and, it's expected, substantial compensation, calling for the resignations of Qantas bosses.
The first thing they should do is reset the toxic corporate culture at Qantas that is tearing down the spirit of Australia.
Dozens of aviation workers protesting so-called festering problems in the industry. The Transport Workers Union is behind the action, claiming workers are copping low pay, long hours and unsafe conditions, both in the air and on the ground.
We're coming to a point where we're going to have the majority of aviation workers will be casuals, where the majority of aviation workers will be paid less than what the current workforce is, and we just don't think that's good enough.
No matter who works here, we are all on the same boat, same job, same pay. We need fairer, safer skies.
Driving for change in the airline industry. Part of protests around the country as airport workers demand more support from the federal government.
It needs to stand up and protect these workers.
and get them JobKeeper and make sure that in the future that we have a decent aviation section.
We need a Safe and Secure Skies Commission. That's what the Transport Workers Union is calling for. It would be an independent body that was able to look at aviation and put in place the settings that aviation needs, free from undue influence from airport and airline executives who, let's face it, in our current structures are just worried about the profit bottom line.
Workers in the so-called gig economy are ramping up their fight for better pay and conditions. This time, riders for food delivery company Hungry Panda are protesting against changes to their wages. The union claims the company is putting profits before the safety of their drivers.
Fed up with having to put up with changes to their pay, drivers for food delivery service Hungry Panda made their anger heard at the Sydney offices of the multinational company.
Today, we have succeeded in the New South Wales Commission in putting forward a plan for the next 3 years, moving those rates by more than 40%. It also broadens the application of this award to people who work in such areas in our gig economy, with Amazon Flex drivers in particular.
This is a world first. This is going to send reverberations around the globe. For the first time ever, the gig behemoth, Amazon Flex, which is undercutting transport markets right across the world, has been held to account. Their sham arrangements have been held to account. Workers who they've been exploiting and killing are now going to get appropriate protections. It's a great day for Amazon Flex workers. It's a great day for couriers generally and good transport companies in New South Wales. We want to make it a great day for everyone in Australia, and that means the federal government has got to step up as well.
Bus drivers are walking off the job for 24 hours as they continue their fight for better pay and conditions.
Workers here are particularly angry about the fact that these companies received government subsidies back in January, but they haven't passed them on. They're demanding better pay and conditions.
You know, we've got the cost of living to worry about at the moment. There's a big push, there's an economic debate across both sides of politics for wages to increase. And if we can't get the government or if we can't get employers to contribute to that process, then we have to take it in our own hands.
As buses banked up at depots, their drivers all boarded the same double-decker in Fairfield. Next stop, Martin Place, where they rallied for better pay and conditions.
Just a fair go. Overall, that's all we're asking for.
Same job, same pay. These drivers work for a handful of private companies. Failing negotiations with their employers, they're now marching on Macquarie Street, calling on the state government to step in.
You cannot just contract out, wash your hands and put your head in the sand. That's not available. That's inappropriate.
The unions say if their demands aren't met,
we could do this for a week. That's that serious.
They're putting the wheels in motion for a fair deal.
What's their wages? Sunbus wages!
Dozens of Sunbus drivers demonstrated outside the Smithfield head office today, demanding better working conditions.
Close to 100 workers turned out today to call for more money. The Transport Workers Union also wants safer conditions, claiming 80% of members have witnessed or been involved in an assault, intimidation or harassment.
The Transport Workers Union is calling for increased security on Perth buses after the assault of a man in front of his children.
The footage to see how scary it was, people screaming and trying to run, and it's a credit to the bus driver. He pulled the bus over.
the Transport Workers Union says security must be increased for the safety of bus drivers and passengers.
Proper security where the security can actually attain these people and hold them there until the police get there.
There are calls for better protection for bus drivers and passengers following a recent spate of attacks on public transport.
We've seen the antisocial behaviour escalate to the stage now where drivers are are resigning.
I resign over safety issues. It's too scary out there to drive. You're expecting to be assaulted.
The union says that these escalating cases of violence and abuse are a daily occurrence, putting both drivers and passengers in danger. And now with the election looming, calling for both parties to end the safety crisis by committing to funding driver protection screens and more police and security officers both on buses and at all major interchanges.
I stand in solidarity with the TWU and all drivers who are fighting for their job security.
You know, the fight will only be won if we stand up and have that fight. We will win. You will win.
Your fight for job security is a fight for all Australian workers.
Solidarity from every single union member and every union around Australia. We are proud of you.
When workers rise and under attack, what do? Stand up!